When you look at the repair landscape, why specifically, repairs for you and Alpha Omega?
Most of this stuff, as you know, happens by mistake.
Why do I
Like,
have a media company on top of my restaurant?
yeah, I'm like, do I want to crawl on
I'm
120?
in no place to judge anyone for doing anything. Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I'm your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ media production. We started this show 8 years ago with a deep belief that every business needs to be digital first, especially brick and mortar businesses like restaurants. We also believe that every business is in the hospitality business, whether they know it or not. We started this journey back when nobody was listening, no one was watching, but we knew that if we were curious and we found great people to have on the show, great business owners, great leaders, great entrepreneurs, that we would eventually build a community. And grateful to say we have a lot of people, thousands of people all over the world that watch these podcasts, listen to these shows, show up in real life at trade shows. So number one, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Today we have an extremely special guest. It's someone that we have not talked about this topic enough. This is restaurant repairs. We are so fortunate that we have Cory Yates. He is the co-owner, managing partner at Alpha Omega Restaurant Equipment and Repair out of Phoenix. Cory Yates, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate you having me.
So I understand that you've sold, is it 6 companies before you launched Alpha Omega?
Correct. Yeah, and it just started a ninth. Alpha and Omega is my eighth. Sold 6 of the previous 7. One it was a real estate business that I just walked away from. And I build and I get impatient and antsy and I sell. And Alpha has been really the first company where I learned to hire smart people and not try and be the center of the universe. And so I've done that, and I have a lot of fantastic people that work with me, and it makes it so much easier to do what I do on a daily basis, knowing that I don't have to answer every question, I don't have to put out every fire. So,
can you share what was the mission when you launched Alpha Omega?
So I've been in the restaurant industry in the Phoenix area since '97, and obviously generated an immense number of relationships. And I consider myself a fixer, and that's not just. And I don't fix anything. I got really smart people that make all the repairs. I read P&Ls and balance sheets for a living, and go and smile and kiss babies and shake hands. The mission really was to take care of the people that had the most incredible passion for what they do, so that they could execute their dreams, their artwork, and so that brought us to here.
Can you share how did you meet Edgar Martinez?
So I had the 5th business that I had was a company called Remington Restaurant Equipment and Repair here in the same area. And when I was looking for my first tech with that company, one of the accounts that I had through a previous business said, "Hey, I know a guy who does maintenance over at a Marriott, and he's looking to leave." And so he and I got together. That was 2005.
Wow.
2005, 2006. And so I hired him as my first tech and lead tech with Remington. And then when I sold it in 2012, he stayed with that business, and I went off and did something else for 3 years. And he called me late 2014, and he said, "Hey, what do you think about getting back into the restaurant industry?" And I'm like, "Okay, what'd you have in mind?" And so it obviously evolved into Alpha and Omega. We started this in 2015, so we're 10 years old in October.
Congratulations. That is
Thank you very much.
epic achievement, accomplishment to have a business partner to build any business, especially one that supports restaurant owners. We just celebrated our 17 years running Cali barbecue out here in San Diego, California, of all places. So we've had our fair share of challenges, successes, failures, but we know that it takes so many people behind the scenes to run any successful company. Can you share, where's the passion for restaurants? Why restaurants for you?
Well, I love to eat.
Me too.
That's part of it. So I go all the way back to 1989. Met a gentleman by the name of Ken Kreider, who actually used to play for the Denver Broncos back in the day.
Nice.
And he owned a soap company. And at that point, I was selling janitorial supplies. I was selling toilet paper and paper towels, and I'd make $3 or $4 a case and think I was killing it. And he said, if you sell a pail of soap, you can make like $22. And I'm like, what? And so that's what started my restaurant voyage. And like I said, we started with a chemical company there, built that, sold it in 97, moved to Phoenix, built a company by the name of Accurate Chemical from 97 to 2004 and sold it, and just maintained that hunger for, like I said, chefs and owners, they never wore watches. I work when there's work to be done. Yep. If I need to come in at 6 and leave at midnight, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I was always so incredibly impressed by that, and the amount of work that they were willing to do for typically not a lot of money. Nothing that would pay for 12 and 16-hour days that I saw a lot of these guys put in. And so I was just so enamored and in awe of a lot of these guys that it just dug its claws into me, and it's never let go.
When you look at the repair landscape, why specifically, repairs for you and Alpha Omega?
That was just the iteration of most of this stuff, as happens by mistake.
Why do I have a media company on top of my restaurant?
Yeah. I'm like, do I want to crawl on 140?
I'm in no place to judge anyone for doing anything. I'll tell you that much.
Crawl on a 140-degree roof in July in Phoenix, and the answer to that question is no, I don't. But it just when I sold the chemical company in 2004. Because of the relationships that I had, a couple guys from what was then the pre-iteration of Smart Care, Ecolabs Repair, I think it was called GCS. They called and they said, "We hate who we work for. We know that you have a bunch of relationships in the restaurant industry. What do you think about starting a repair business?" And that evolved into Remington, that we ran from 2006 to 2012. It kept me close to what I loved to warm my hands on, which was the fire of the hospitality industry, restaurants, chefs, things like that. And so it kept me close to that. And then it just continued to evolve. Again, some of it purposeful, most of it by mistake.
I read on your website that your mission is to fill the gap between large and less responsive companies, as well as unlicensed, uninsured, fit-for-all individuals. Those are two things that I haven't seen on paper, but when you say them, for me as a restaurant owner, it gives me anxiety, and it makes me happy that there's companies like you that exist. Can you share the problem with what have you found with the large and less responsive companies?
Well, and when I say less responsive, at some point and again, I don't want to disrespect anybody that has come before me.
Sure.
and cleared the path. The Smart Cares, the GCSs, the Tech 24s, the general parts. These are all behemoths in the market, of course, and as good as they are at what they do, their deficits are typically communication and speed of execution.
Yep.
And so I've seen them in the past kind of stumble and fall and skin their knees and get up, and they're not really responsive. They're not tip of the spear. They're killing it. I never saw that. And so what I wanted to do was build a company that responded with accountability, quickly, jumped higher, faster, farther than any of those companies. And because we had the relationships with the previous iteration of Accurate Chemical, we were able to incubate that very quickly. In 90 days, we got 100 accounts.
Wow.
And so so the message was what we wanted it to be. We're going to be responsive. We're going to be honest. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be quick, and we're going to communicate like rock stars, and we're going to be accountable when we fall and skin our knees. And that's just not how corporate does it. And of course, the guy who's on the other end of the spectrum that you mentioned, he drives the same van that his wife takes the kids to soccer in the afternoon. Typically, he's not licensed. He's not insured. He may have the skill sets necessary to fix what needs to be done. But if there's a catastrophic event, they're not capable of helping a restaurant owner, get through a catastrophic event. God forbid there's a fire or somebody gets electrocuted. Something goes horribly wrong. They're not in a position to do anything about it. And obviously we want to sandwich ourselves right in between there, both in response time, responsibility, professionalism, communication, and accountability.
You work with so many different restaurant owners across the spectrum throughout your career. What do you wish that restaurant owners knew about commercial kitchen repairs?
How do I say this without?
We all have tough skin. It's okay, Cory. This is a circle of trust. Our community is filled with a circle of trust.
Well, everybody has expenses.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't want this to come off as we're the only one with expenses. We're the only one who's seeing increases in everything that we touch. Everybody is. But I think that there is a misunderstanding about what our costs are. The majority of our trucks, as we buy them, the way we need them outfitted, they're about 90 grand a piece, and we've got 15 of them. And then you put $10,000 to $12,000 worth of product on them.
Yep.
And then you put $100,000 a year technician in them, and $1,000 worth of gas a month and maintenance and all. And so it's incredibly expensive to run this company. And again, no tears, no sympathy. That's not what I'm after. But I want them to understand that big invoices don't necessarily equate to big profit.
Yep.
Nobody's getting rich doing this. I'm not anyway. Maybe if I raised my prices, it would make a couple more nickels. But then it's not doing what my mission is, and that's to build trust and relationship with these owners, these chefs, who I know are beating their brains out, to squeeze nickels and dimes out of every check. And so I want to have a fantastic partnership with each and every one of them. I don't want to be adversarial. What I know about them is that they can't sell what I sell them. I'm red ink. We walk in the back door, we are red ink, period. We help you make black ink, but we're still red ink. And so that is one of the messages that travels anytime we have an all company meeting. We make sure that our technicians and our administration knows we're red ink. We're not a profit center for them. They can't grind up what we sell and put it on a taco and put it on a plate somewhere. Yeah. And so there's a hyper sensitivity to their expenses. And I would like there to be a hypersensitive sensitivity to the expenses that we have to endure to be able to bring them the service that we do.
I appreciate you saying that. And I think that's something that does get lost. I mean, we believe a rising tide lifts all ships. That's why we do the show that we do. A true partnership. We don't even view people as partners. I mean, as vendors, because vendors almost like an unhospitable word. It's a true partnership. It's understanding that we're both in business together. You're investing in us just as much as we're investing in you. And the fact that, let's be honest, most restaurant repairs that happen are oh shit repairs that happen on a Friday night at 9 p.m. or on a Saturday morning. So your schedule, your responsiveness, you have to pay for that responsiveness. And we have to also be willing to know that, like, I'm going to have high sales on those days. So Cory, you and I, if you were, working with us, that's what I'd be willing to pay. I mean, one of the theses of this show is talking to other business owners to have honest conversations so that we can all find the tools and technology that might help us build deeper partnerships, more profitable partnerships, more sustainable partnerships. I think one of the most exciting things for me is, 86 Repairs is a client of ours, a sponsor of this show. They're best in class technology. And the more that I work with them and learn about the ecosystem that is restaurant repairs, the more I realize how much we can all learn. Can you share a little bit about the relationship that you have with 86 Repairs?
So 86 came to us through a client we had about 6-7 years ago that was privately owned and then became corporately owned through an M&A venture. And they had 86 as their liaison, if you will, between their repairs and vendors. And 86 reached out to us. And you are right when you say, state of the art technology. They are able to do what no facilities manager can do. They are, and I call them a behemoth. I don't know. That's less about size than it is their capability.
Yeah.
What they do, how they do it, and that for us, they are feeding us information before we even jump in our truck to head somewhere. We know so much more when we jump in our truck to head out for a repair because of 86 Repairs, that the information is so replete that it makes our life easier. It makes it less expensive for a restaurant, no question, because we charge by the hour.
Yeah.
If we get to the back door and we wander around for 15 or 20 minutes trying to gather some sort of information from somebody who knows who, what, when, where, why, that's $15 times X number of dollars per hour. And if we arrive with all that information already in our holster, we can go straight to the piece of equipment, dig in immediately, and it's a money saver, no question. Folds time without question.
Yeah, it's fascinating, the world that we live in, and when you implement technology to be proactive instead of reactive with communication, of understanding what are the tools that you need to get the job done, which trucks do you need to send, which technicians, which skill set. I mean, I recently had an experience just with AAA. We had 2 different family cars that I needed to call AAA. One of them was for a dead battery, just a jump, and the other one was for an actual tow. But because they have good technology on their end, I didn't call anyone. I was using their app, but I was giving the app information about what I needed, and they sent out the correct truck and the correct technician to take care of my problem. And when I think about the companies like 86 Repairs, so much communication restaurant owners, if we're honest, it's one of the last things that we think about until it breaks. And then when it breaks, it's, oh my God, who can help me fix it?
Yesterday, because and I know
yesterday,
and I know that there is so little redundancy. The ability to have less cooking space and more seating,
yes,
is more and more and more. We see all these new restaurants with these kitchens that are so diminutive, and 170, 180, 220 seats. And it's like, how are you going to crank that out? And so the lack of space creates a lack of redundancy in equipment. You lose a fryer, that could be 25, 30% of your menu.
Yep.
Until it's up and running. And so we, with the attention to detail that 86 has and can feed us, you're right, we can send out the truck. Okay, the fryers, the pilot will not light. Okay, so could be thermopile, could be high limit, could be gas valve. We want to arrive with as much of that as we possibly can prior to for the diagnostics, so that we can make a single visit fix. That gets you up and running quicker. It restores your capability to deliver your menu to your clients, and gets us out of the way.
How is working with 86 Repairs compared to other CMS providers?
I will name no names.
Don't name any names.
They are, so we have 303 clients.
Okay.
And so we've done everything from I promised I wouldn't name names. How do I do this? So there rhymes with nervous channel, and everything in between. There's probably 10 separate companies, and we probably worked with 6 or 8 of them, and it's so clunky to work with them. It either creates a need where you have to do double entry at the admin level, and of course my admins hate me whenever we do that. And so we've actually fired a couple clients because they refused to fire Nervous Channel because it's so clunky, it's so time and attention intensive that just didn't want to use them. What 86 does is they lubricate every piece of the process that makes it easy for us, makes it easy for you as an owner, so that again, we're folding time, we're costing you less money, we arrive intelligent to what's going on, who do we talk to at what phone number, etc. And it's so much better.
How much do you pay 86 to be a part of their network?
0.
I'm sorry, how much?
Nothing. Exactly nothing.
It's shocking in the world that we live in, where platforms are being, I mean, just as a restaurant owner, we know that, I mean, I'm not technically paying for our third party delivery, but I'm paying a lot for my third party delivery.
Right. Yeah. No, we pay 86 nothing to be part of their network. I'm not sure it's symbiotic, of course, because they want to send out vetted vendors, or channel partners, however you want to say it. They want to send out a vetted partner that makes them look good to you, their client, and somebody that they can trust, where they're not going to get nasty phone calls back from a restaurant owner or chef that says, don't ever send that company again. They don't know what they're doing, that they have no clue, they don't communicate well, the diagnostic was a mess, whatever it was. And so it costs us nothing to be part of that network other than we have to deliver.
If there was another restaurant repair company somewhere else in the nation, and they were thinking about working with 86 Repairs, what would you tell them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're good, if you suck, don't bother, because they're gonna spit you out pretty quick. If you're good, they want to spread you over whatever region you can work in, whatever region you can do work for them in. And you may or may not be an exclusive, but climb to the top of that list with the work that you do, the communication that you handle, not only with them, but with the client as well, their client. And potentially that client could become your client as the vendor. So the answer is yes. Dig in. You absolutely want to deal with a company like 86 who gets it from both sides. They get the ownership side, they get the vendor side, and they have been able to magically marry those two things that are typically there's usually some amount of abrasion between vendors and restaurant owners, restaurateurs. Again, for kind of what I mentioned earlier, we're red ink. And the less blood we can splash over their P&L, the better we're going to be. And anything that helps to, again, lubricate that process like 86 does, just makes that relationship better between us and our client and us and 86 because of their input.
So before this interview, I was looking at your LinkedIn page, and I have to give you some props. I've been doing this a long time. We believe in digital storytelling, doing video to share your story. It doesn't matter what business you're in. Show me, don't tell me. And you have videos of inside your offices. You have videos with your founder. You posted a video. You were on TikTok, School of Hard Knocks. Can you share a little bit for the business owner that's listening to this about just the power of marketing and the power of even just coming on a show like this to share what you're building, why you're passionate about it?
So again, most of this was thrust on me. I didn't know what to expect. My wife owns her own design company, so she does all of our social media stuff. And to be able to have that, and most people don't have that. I still have to pay her, by the way, Sean.
Hopefully she gives you a family discount.
Nope. Nope. But she does good work, so I don't
Fantastic.
complain.
That's fantastic. Charging a premium, just like my wife would. Fantastic.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Nordstrom is like 5 minutes from here, and that's a problem, Sean. So
Well, Amazon's my problem.
there you
I don't have
go.
a Nordstrom problem. I have an Amazon problem.
So what she does for us, and what is created just because of our association with the industry itself. It creates relationships that I know people, not just social media, but Safesa, and those types of relationships. I know people in New York, New Jersey, Florida, California, everywhere that do exactly what we do. And I can call them at a moment's notice because I know how they run their business.
Yeah.
Either through social media posts or whatever relationship we've garnered over the internet. And so the value of that is, well, you can't put a value to it.
Yeah.
Things where I think we're really smart inside our own four walls, but occasionally we run into things where like, I have no idea. I don't have an answer to this. I don't even know if the question is that clear. But let me call Richie. Let me call this guy. Let me call that guy. And let's gather some experience that they may have that helps us through this bit of problem.
Well, for me, I'm grateful for you taking the time. I'm grateful for the audience that have listened to all of our shows. We do so much different content, but it means the world to me for you to share your experience as an entrepreneur, business owner, how you think about the restaurant industry, where you think we're headed. Let's go there. Where do you think we're headed?
Well, I think it'd be foolish not to say that I'm concerned
Yep.
about the future.
Yep.
We went out this last week and had breakfast, my wife and I, and had a mimosa, and not a big breakfast by any means. It was $98. $98 for breakfast.
Yep.
And it wasn't a $98 meal, I can tell you that. And not because of a lack of effort or skill or quality or anything like that. It wasn't a $98 meal. And so those are the kind of things that concern me for the future. It's like, will going out to eat only be for upper blue and white collar people? Is that the only people that are going to be able to afford to eat a quality meal? I'm not talking about the bullshit that you get at fast food and
the bullshit at the fast food is like $30-$40 now.
Correct.
So
correct, and it's horrible.
It's not $12 anymore. It's
right.
not $8 anymore.
Yeah, not like it used to be. And so those are the kind of things that concern me. What doesn't concern me, what gives me hope, is the grit of the people who are so passionate about this industry that it doesn't matter what the hurdle is. They're going to succeed. They're going to build great restaurants. They're going to put out great food. And people are still going to flock to them, magnetize to them because of their personality, their passion, and the quality of what they put out. And so that for me, it gives me a lot of hope. Costs have to stabilize fairly quickly, though. Otherwise, it's gonna take out the lower. It's gonna have the COVID effect. It's gonna take out the lower 30 or 40% of restaurateurs, and they're as much the foundation as the larger nationwide operators.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you. What restaurants have gone through just in the last 5 years, what the entire industry has gone through in the last 5 years, there is a level of grit, ingenuity, creativity. People that are in this business, we love this business. We know it's a difficult business, but we also know it's beautiful, and we're willing to fight and do whatever we need to stay in business. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I mean, I'm here, hosting. I have a media company I built on top of my restaurant because I want to find ways to share stories like yours. I believe that, globally, we're all going through the same thing. The same thing that you're dealing with in Phoenix is the same thing that my restaurants face here in San Diego, is the same thing that somebody that's listening to this in Sydney, Australia, they also have fryers that they're trying to keep up and running. They have walk-in coolers. And through sharing and through community, and more importantly through technology, I think hopefully we can find better, more profitable, more sustainable ways to run our businesses and take care of our families, take care of our villages. So Cory, I'm grateful. If you guys are listening to the show, we just launched a restaurant technology Substack newsletter. Please go on to Substack and subscribe to the newsletter. Cory, if people are in Phoenix, I will refer, next time I talk to any restaurant owner, I'm going to be sure that they have your number to make sure that Alpha Omega is on the top of their list when things proactively, so that they proactively reach out to you. But what's the best place for people to keep in touch with you, Cory? We'll put it in the show notes.
They can always find me on LinkedIn, and everything kind of emanates from that. Instagram, of course, TikTok, YouTube, all of those. We're locked into every bit of that. Phone numbers 602-679-0102, 24-hour service number 480-828-0128. We are 24/7, 365, have to be in this industry to be able to prop up those people, again, that are as passionate as they are. And Sean, I'm always humbled when people want to reach out and have any interest in the small amount of experience that I do have. It's humbling to me. So I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And once again, thank you to the team at 86 Repairs. We're grateful for introductions like these. This is why we started the show. You never know who you're going to meet in this business. And what I do know is that it takes so many different people, different walks of life, different skill sets to get food onto a plate, into a restaurant. So we're grateful that we get to have conversations like this. Cory, thank you so much for your time. If you guys want to reach out to me, it's at Sean P. Walchef. Instagram's probably the fastest, but I'm active on all the platforms, LinkedIn, all of them. You can always reach out to me, Sean at CaliBBQ.media. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next episode.